What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of At Home with Mark. This is the season opener of season 11, and holy shit, have we got a good one for you. Mr. Dave Krusen is here. Dave, thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. So I want to get this out of the way up front because you may not know this, but so that is on my arm.
Oh, cool.
And here's the thing. I'm gonna butter you up because, dude, I was in the 6th grade and I was in my friend's bedroom and we were playing NBA jams as one does.
Sweet.
And he put on, he had Nirvana's Nevermind on, and we were listening. I was playing it, and then he that record ended, and then he put 10 on, and I didn't know anything about Nirvana. I was a jock in 6th grade. I was playing lacrosse and soccer and all that stuff, and we're playing, and then he puts 10 on, and I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "It's this other band from the Seattle area called Pearl Jam." And I was like, "Can someone else take my turn?" And I gave my buddy the controller, and I shit you not, Dave, I sat in front of his stereo and listened to the whole record. And in that moment, you guys changed my life.
Really?
At that moment, I was like, wow. I want to play guitar. Just immediately. And I hadn't even really thought about it really.
Wow.
And he let me borrow it. My brother was the only person in the house that had a CD player. And I went home that night and I hijacked his CD player and I sat in front of the stereo and listened to it two more times. Awesome. Then I told my dad, I was like, I want to play guitar. Can we figure something out that I can learn guitar? And dude, it's been my whole life ever since. Through high school, I went to Berkeley. I gigged heavily, and it's been, I'm a songwriter, and it's because of you guys. So thank you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Jeez. Very cool. Right on.
Yeah. It's a weird journey because I've traversed through so many different things, man. My band now is more of in the jam band genre. But I just saw the dudes play in Baltimore last fall. So I mean, I'm still going to see them and still into it, and just my favorite band. So thank you. That's just up front. I wanted to ask you a question I ask everybody, Dave. What is your earliest musical memory?
Wow. Well, kind of hard to say just because I grew up a lot of music around. I have a brother who's 10 years older and a sister who's 9 years older. So they were always playing music, but we'd listen to the radio in the car. My mom would put tunes on. So very early on, I mean, Elvis was a very early one. My mom loved Elvis. And just pop that was on the radio back then. I mean, I remember, long before I even went into kindergarten, getting to come out and I must have liked drums before I even remember liking drums, because I remember hey, come, Buddy Rich would be on Carson, stuff like that. So I was probably already banging on things before I got to kindergarten, and I get to come out and watch something like that. Yeah, so a lot of that, a lot of pop from the late 60s, early 70s. The Beatles, the Stones, everything. And my brother had a great, I'd say, record. He had records, but he had 8 tracks too.
Hell yeah.
And sometimes I'd get in his car and pop an 8-track in, and you had to put a match book in there to get it to play right, But yeah, Aerosmith was an early one. Zeppelin.
Okay.
Zeppelin used to scare the hell out of me. I would sit in his car and listen to a whole lot of Love, and I'd get to that breakdown and have to turn it off and get out of there. Deep Purple.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Guess Who.
So he had all this stuff on 8-track?
He had all those on 8-track. He had records. Dude. My sister had records. But we had, and we had a record collection. One of my parents' records that I loved was Santana. God, what is it? Abraxas.
Oh yeah.
That was an early one. Yeah. And we had a sweet, like, as a lot of us did back then, this big console tube stereo, you
Oh,
know,
hell yeah.
on, and it'd warm up, had that smell too. It was so great. Put a record on. Yeah.
So I'm sure you remember this fondly in the 90s, but like driving around with CD booklets.
Mhm.
How do you drive around with 8 tracks? Is there like a bin, like a milk crate? Like,
Yeah, I remember them having like some in a box, you know what I mean? Like in the back seat. I never had to attempt trying to, operate an 8 track while driving. That was the time of driving. But yeah, and then like I said, he had to kind of, jam something in there to really get it playing right. But yeah, for me it was cassettes and
That's,
CDs eventually, but when I first started driving, it was cassettes.
yeah, man. Dude, so
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about like the jazz side of things. When you say Buddy Rich, I'm so curious about you
Mm.
because the reason here's some more butter, Dave. The reason I love your playing so much, especially in the PJ context, is you are the king of swing.
Wow.
Like your feel, and even like from watching you like in the recent past couple of years when you played with him live, when you guys did the whole 10 record and all that stuff, your feel is so different from Matt's. Like you can instantly hear just like a swing and a groove that's very distinctive to me. And each iteration of each drummer had different vibe, but like
Mm.
in my opinion, I think you swing the hardest. So
Well, thank you. I take
as a,
that as a compliment for sure.
I mean it as a compliment because there's a feeling that the music takes on when you've got the swing behind it. So talk to me a little bit about that. Like, is there early on when you're kind of shedding on working on your chops and stuff, are you playing straight ahead stuff? Like, what are you doing at that time?
Um, yeah, well, I came up, my first band, I was 13 and we played, what was on the radio. Attempted a Toto song, played some Doobie Brothers. What else did we play that first? A lot of Foreigner, AC/DC. um, but I loved jazz, Buddy Rich, Krupa, Ed Shaughnessy was great. And then I got more into bebop later, but the big band stuff is like kind of my first experience with jazz. So I loved those guys. And then also I will say early on, for one, the swing thing to me, it's like I never tried to emulate Charlie Watts, but I just love the way he, in a rock and roll setting, I knew he was really into jazz and I just liked his approach, very loose. And
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't trying to be loose. I just played loose. But also Mitch Mitchell was a huge influence.
Okay.
That's somebody that I kind of forget about. If somebody asks me about influences, he really influenced me in a way that I didn't really sit down and think like, focus on his drumming. But I heard Hendrix my whole life, you know what I mean? And yeah, there's something about the way, a three-piece band and what that guy did. But then I also feel like he's following Jimmy's guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really all I did in Pearl Jam
Mm-hmm.
was just follow those guys. It was really slinky and loose and Stones, those riffs
Mm-hmm.
swung.
Yeah.
So and then Jeff's really holding it down. So it's like you don't have to think about that. It's like you can play kind of in between those two. You know what I mean? And kind of find a space there. So that's really all I did. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta give them most of the credit. I really kind of just hopped on that wave and rode that for
But
the whole.
there's a chemistry that's palpable, and
Yeah, I,
there's a
I
reason that record is still standing the test of time. You know what I mean?
I think so. We had a definite chemistry. I thought from the get go. It
Yeah.
was whoa. Because I was a Mother Love Bone fan, but this was like hit me completely different.
Yeah.
It
So
was
like
really,
when Eddie walked in to rehearse, it was just immediate. You guys felt it immediately.
yeah. We'd been working for I don't know, maybe a week, 4 days, something like that, and they didn't tell me, oh, there's a singer coming up. Nothing. They didn't tell me much. It's just like, come on down at I don't know noon or whatever. So that first day was like, bring your drums down, and then just like why don't you leave your drums here and come back tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. Did that for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 days, something like that. Not a lot. And then I think we even started rehearsal and maybe Jeff wasn't there yet. I'm not sure, but we got down there and then he showed up with Eddie and it was just like, hey, nice to meet you. I didn't know who he was, that he was even going to sing. They
Mhm.
still hadn't said anything. Oh, he's the singer. Nothing like that. It was just like, you know, how you doing? They're chatting and we're getting ready to play. And then he started singing. I'm like, he must be the singer.
Because before that,
Yeah, then it was another level of just like, wow. Okay.
right? Because who was your connection there? Was like Stone or Jeff like your connection to get asked to come rehearse?
No, I had a friend, Tal Gatling, that I grew up with. I was in my first band with him, and he was in a band called Son of Man. And they played with Mother Love Bone, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, everybody back then. And he knew Jeff, and I guess they had crossed paths. And he called me. He said, "Hey, I just spoke with Jeff Ament, and they're looking for drummers to jam with." And he said, "I was telling him about you," and he said, "Tell him to give me a call. My name's in the phone book." My number's in the phone book. So I opened up the phone book, and there he was, and that was it. I gave him a call. And it's like, "Hey, come on down."
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Jeff is the most underrated bass player in rock and roll.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. Yeah,
he's
for sure.
like the McCartney of that generation, in my opinion. Like the
Oh, yeah.
bass lines he writes are so hip, man. So hip.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. No, I agree 100%. Without those, none of that happens. You know,
I agree.
it's very different, very outside the box, but just puts the perfect part there.
Yeah. So what's for your from your perspective, you guys start rehearsing. I'm gathering it's all like the Mama Son stuff. So like you guys are doing earlier versions of those tunes with Eddie when he comes out. But when they when they tell you they booked a gig, was that like exciting or was it really, really scary in a way?
Yes.
Scary.
That was all of them. It was exciting and scary. I mean, I was excited to play, but uh, I don't know. It's funny because looking back, it wasn't surprising. It was scary. I was excited and it was scary, but it wasn't uh, surprising because by this time it had been like 10 days, 12 days. I don't know. And I don't even know if we'd had a day off in that time. We just like, I started working with those guys and Eddie came in. And that was the other thing. When he started singing, I felt like I locked pretty good to those guys and we were grooving and it was cool, it was good. And then he started singing and then it was just like, just support that vocal, I
Mhm.
mean, as much as possible. And then that made it even easier to play to. Yeah. So when the gig came up, that was, yeah, very nerve wracking. I was pretty freaked out. And I'd played a lot of gigs. I grew up playing in a jazz choir. It's like I'd done such different gigs and like impromptu things and a lot of just like ad libbing. I feel like that's probably my strong suit if I have one, is just ad libbing, just jamming
Hell yeah.
off the cuff. And so I was like, but the arrangements were still being fleshed out. So it wasn't like we had these songs down, and ran a set. We didn't really do that. We'd just been working on these songs. Hey, we're going to go down to the off ramp and play. And I think I, it was kind of hush hush, really. Like they were just like, we're just going to go set up and play. It's not, just kind of see how it feels on stage.
Mhm.
And we got down there. There were a couple people, few people. And then all of a sudden we started playing and like I see some people with cameras and it's just like the handful of people that are here, they're freaking me out. You know what I mean? And then it's like a few songs in, it kind of like there were more people, kind of loosened up a little bit toward the end and got, a little freer. But yeah, it was exciting. I mean, I love a challenge musically, so I was excited to do it. But yeah, I think pretty much how it is. Like before, you're like that's when the nerves are like hitting, and then as soon as it starts, then you're okay.
Yeah.
You count it in and start playing, then it's fine. But yeah, it was intense to get going.
I bet, dude. You know what's crazy too when I think about you guys being like as young as you were, like the level of musical maturity that you guys carried.
Mm.
I think for me as a young kid, and like, granted, I'm in middle school when I first hear you guys. And for some reason, I've been an old soul my whole life in a way, but like I could hear this level of maturity that was kind of transcending everything else that was coming out of the Pacific Northwest. As an East Coast kid, like hearing stuff that's filtering over, and I'm getting it filtered like coffee through many layers, right?
Mhm.
But for me, there was just this level of maturity that I could hear, and not, and when you're in middle school or people that are in their early 20s or mid 20s, they're old to you. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, like hearing the songs, like Stone is just so brilliant with the way that he writes. Anytime I get stuck when I'm writing a song, I'm like, what would Stone do, or what would Paul McCartney do, kind of thing in this moment.
Mhm.
And then hearing Mike play soulfully as he was playing, you weren't hearing stuff like that. It was like hair metal and then McCready, and like then I had to be like, who did this guy listen to? Oh, who's Jimi Hendrix? Who's Stevie Ray Vaughan? Like, I didn't know any of that stuff. I was a jock, like I said. So I had to like find him first to get to Hendrix, to get to Stevie.
Wow.
Um, but it's interesting because you guys were like so musically mature
Thank you.
at the time.
Yeah, I think influences, everybody had done a lot of work to get to that point. And, Jeff and Stone obviously had a lot of experience being in bands that were making records and all that, and touring. They toured a lot. So I think they really brought that, they had a really they've been through obviously so much, right,
Mhm.
to get to that point that, I was also really impressed with how they handled things because it was fun, but and I'd worked with a lot of talented people by that point, but it was like, this is so next level. Like the amount of work that got done, the way the arrangements kind of like got fleshed out, and you know what I mean? And things that were even like done, they had demos for it was still I like a process. It's like, you know, I think they understood like, yeah, those are demos, that's a framework, that's my song. But now we're gonna, you know, take it with these guys and, expand on it. And so yeah, it was I was super impressed right off the bat with their work ethic.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Mhm.
we played, I mean, how many days in a row? Eddie came up, started singing, and they felt confident enough to go play a club like maybe 2 weeks later. Um,
Man, that's crazy.
so yeah, it was, they felt, you know, confident enough that we'd done enough work to go break the ice that way.
Yeah. Well, thank the music gods that it happened, dude, because I wouldn't be who I am today if it weren't for you guys.
Yeah, man.
Um, I want to ask you one more question, then I want to move away from this because this is your whole, everybody's asking you all this stuff about Pearl Jam. I don't want to do that today. I want to do something different. But, dude, anytime I try to count the middle of Garden with those hits, what the hell is going on there, dude? Were you guys all playing live and you could see each other? And
Uh, no, we worked that out.
okay, what
That
is the
that
timing
was
on that?
Jeff. Like we'd be like things like that, like breakdowns. That was usually Jeff had a little twist there. Maybe Stone did as well, but I remember him on more than one occasion. Like, let's go 2 more bars there, or let's turn it around in 5. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay. And I just did Drumeo, and so we were playing stuff. I was playing 10,
Yeah.
and it would get to that part, and I'm like, wait, what is that? Because just running it down here, it's one thing. And when I jammed with them a few years ago in Fresno, it was kind of like, it was so easy because, you know what I mean? It's like, it's an organic experience of playing with them. It's like, brings it all back. But when you're just playing to the record, it's like a little more, oh yeah, that's right. Like, it's kind of harder to get the nuance right there. But yeah, I was like, wait, what is that? And then I think there's an intro to one of the songs that goes, 2 bars extra,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Garden, and got Deep, I think has something weird in it. But yeah, Garden, I remember that specifically. Like there's those turnarounds in the middle of the song. One of them's shorter, stuff like that. That was Jeff.
Okay.
And it's cool because it's super subtle. It's not like, all of a sudden math rock. It's just like one little part. Just
Yeah. I mean, dude, and I'm here for all the nerdy stuff, dude. I mean, if we're talking Zappa or we're talking, anything that's crazy time signatures, I'm here for it. I mean, one of my favorite guitar players is Wayne Krantz. Do you know that dude?
I mean, I know the name. I can't.
Woo!
Band.
You know Keith Carlock, right?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
So Keith Carlock, Tim LaFabe, the bass player Tim LaFabe.
No.
He played. He's played on so many records. Like he played on David Bowie's last record, and
okay. Yeah.
But you should check out Wayne Krantz, dude, if you want to lose your mind. But so it's just interesting because for years, anytime I hear a Garden, I'm like, how did they record that? Were they looking at each other? Were they like separated? Were they all in the same room?
We were all in the same room, and we were playing live. But we did work those out, I mean, we did a lot of rehearsing.
Yeah.
We did demos. We played live. We did a little tour West Coast thing with Alice in Chains. So
yeah,
we worked our asses off by the time we got in to do 10. But there's a lot of stuff that was just like off the cuff. Yellow Ledbetter, Mike just started playing. That's why it's like he's playing and the drums come in. And we didn't play that. We only played it one time. That's the recording. But the drums are so straight. Like I don't do fills. I'm just kind of keeping time, really. Like stuff like that. Like yeah, Beatles cover. We did.
I Got a Feeling.
Yeah, we did a Mudhoney cover. We did a Free song. We filled reels and reels of tape. So that's just what I can remember off the top of my head.
Dave told me the story of Even Flow too, of the tape and everything, and I was like, "What?" Yeah, that whole story. Like I'd vaguely heard things, but he's like, "Oh no, I'll tell you what happened," and that was pretty funny. But man, it's crazy to like from start to finish that record too. Because do you remember the first tune you guys recorded? Do you remember the first thing you went in to do?
Well, we did 2 rounds of demos really early on, and then we did some much closer. Well, I think it's hard to say. I think we did a round, then we did the West Coast tour, and then we came back and I think did the next round of demos, that's Alive. It's from that. Wash. There's a few off of that are out there. But when we started 10, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know what we started with. Breath and a Scream, maybe?
Oh, cool.
Possibly.
By the way, the best bridge in all of the Pearl Jam catalog, in my opinion, I think.
What a great song. That might be the first one we've jammed on in the basement, too.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. What a rocker for that, man. What kit did you play on that record?
I played a Ludwig. I was having a drum set made by Keplinger.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was excited about that. So on the like a live and some of the stuff that is like B-sides that's come out, that was a Thomas Wingstar.
Okay.
And old Ludwig snare, and then and like a mix of Zildjian and Paistes. And then for the record, since my kit wasn't done yet, we rented a Ludwig, like probably a 90 or 91. It was new Ludwig kit, and yeah, it was a great kit.
What snare did you use, or
Noble
what snares?
Yeah, Noble and Cooley is what I used on that record.
Okay.
Everything but Alive, pretty much. Everything but Alive that's on 10 is a Noble and Cooley 5x14 maple. And Gary Clark, I hope I'm getting the last name right, was a drum tech for Denny Carmassi. And so our manager had worked for Heart for years. So they had a real connection with the Heart folks. And when we were doing the record, I came in. It's like, this is Gary. Hey, nice to meet you. And he's tuning the drums, and he put the snare on there. He had 2. I think one was cherry and one was maple. and then we would do a few takes, and he'd be over there tuning stuff up, and I was like, man, that's so nice of him to like tune up the drums and all that, and then Kelly, our manager, said, "Oh, he's billing us." Oh,
uh,
gotcha, okay.
what did you have a 22 kick? Like, what was your kick?
Yeah, 22 by 16.
Okay.
12 rack it was a deep one, like 11.
Mm-hmm.
And a 13 or a 14, I'm sorry, by 13 deep floor tom.
Yeah.
That was the kit, you know. And then pinstripe Remos, they're super fat sounding. I always love those.
Mm-hmm.
So those toms end up sounding pretty beefy. And then the bass drum, actually, I had a Remo. We started with ambassadors, and the toms weren't like fat enough, so we put the pinstripes on there. But a Remo coated ambassador on the kick drum with a Danmar patch and a wood beater.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's rad. Dude,
Yeah.
Thomas Swingstar was my first drum kit, and I can't remember when I sold that. Maybe when I moved to Boston because I couldn't have a kit, you know.
Great drums.
Great drums, but now I have a Yamaha Stage Custom, which I love. It's great.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah, they're great for. I mean, as for a guitar player, I don't need anything crazy. Man, that's so fun. So like, all right, so, well, let's kind of shift focus because we're gonna run out of time, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. But when I originally approached you about doing this, I told you I wanted to talk about like 5 records that were super impactful on you as a player. So I have them written down here, and I just kind of want to get like tidbits from you on why you like those records, and like if there are any specific songs or specific techniques that you heard or fills or things that you wanted to learn. But let's start with Exile on Main Street. So that's the only Stones record I own. I probably should own more, but tell me a little bit about your exposure to that record and what set that off for you.
Well, I'd heard it for years, of course. And then it's funny because when we played that first show at the Off Ramp in Seattle, when we were done, I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were playing that on the PA.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sound guy was like wrapping cables. You know what I mean? Like they were kind of shutting everything down. The club was, and they were playing that record. They started on track 1, and I was like, oh man, I love this record. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and it was like it just kept going. We were there for a while, and I was like, man, it kind of helped me fall back in love with that record. So it's something I was listening to a lot while I was, in that band, and we were working away. That was a huge influence on me, and just everything about it, I think, he's kind of all over the place on that record. You know what I mean? He's like riding on the rim. He's, it's like he's doing shuffles. He's rocking out. Happy's great. And that was the producer. Miller played drums on that track. That's like a perfect track, I think. And it's just, and the way everything fits together, the drums are not in your face. They're not overpowering. It's just kind of like, I felt really like what the song needed. You know what I mean? And so that was a huge influence.
Okay.
Still to this day.
So when I was a kid and I would watch Charlie play, that whole like stopping the hi-hat during the snare hit and everything, like I never understood what was going on there and like why he did that. But I feel like as I got older, I kind of got like the sonic nature of that. Like, what was your take on that? Like in like the first time you see Charlie Watts play drums?
Well, seeing him do it, it was like Keith had his weird, thing, and Charlie was playing like that. And it was like, what the hell? How do you? So of course you try and do it as a drummer. You're like, man, that's just weird. But then I heard later that Jim Keltner showed him that. And then Keltner's comment later in an interview was, I showed him that because he was saying like, or I think he had seen Keltner do it, and Keltner's like, well, when you take when you hit the snare, it's not competing with the hi-hat.
Right.
And Charlie liked that. And then Keltner was like, but that's like ballad stuff. He's up there like,
right.
jamming out, playing fast stuff like that, which is like, whoa. But
Yeah.
yeah, fun to watch and sounds amazing. And it's, if you watch him, like watch some live stuff that, especially like from like 82 on, it's so confusing because it looks one way, but sounds, you can't, you
Hmm.
can't really, it's like, it throws you off, but it doesn't sound like what it looks like, just so smooth.
Yeah.
He
It
just,
almost looks like the it's not synced, like the audio is not synced
that's what
sometimes,
I
you know what I
mean.
mean?
Yeah, it's like, what is it? But yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
he made it his own, clearly.
Yeah, no, I mean his fingerprint is on the history of American music and British music, I mean world music.
Yep.
Um, so let's move on to physical graffiti because obviously, as a young lad, you said you were scared of Zeppelin. So tell me a little bit about
Oh,
why physical graffiti.
physical graffiti, I would say it, again, he's all over the place. He's playing so many styles, and just whatever the song needed. It's, he's such a powerful drummer. But if you haven't seen them play, if you've never seen any video or whatever, um, just to listen to it, it there's so much going on dynamically. Like he gets so quiet. The band does, right? And they break it down. It gets so quiet that's actually my favorite parts. You know what I
Me
mean? Like
too.
he's on the ride. Everything's so like pristine, and then it's a complete and total chaotic train wreck of awesomeness. So it's really, it's got it all. And to me, it's like another like perfect record. Sums that band up for me.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear him play in like a soft ballad nature, but hear him throw that triplet stuff in his right foot, like it
Mhm.
ain't no thing. Like it's just like
Yeah.
it's flawless and perfectly. I mean, there's a taffy like rubato nature of Zeppelin stuff. You can hear it. Never feels like they're falling off the groove or anything like that to me, but it always just feels like they're appropriately massaging the song.
Yeah, and he was so back on the beat. And the other thing that really influenced me off that record is his ghost notes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Who else do you feel like these days that's playing, do you see play and you're like, oof, they're taking that thing to the next stage of what could be done with what Bonzo started with? Like, is there anybody that you see that's kind of carrying that torch?
Man, I'm really bad with like discovering new stuff, and then then to see, you know what I mean? So much of what I hear, well, Chad Smith's like one of the greatest, I feel like, always has been, but he does a lot of that, I think. He's got so much power, but he can break it down. He's got a lot of subtlety to his playing, I think, and a sick groove, obviously. Abe Laboriel Jr. is another guy. Like it's just not even fair. He's just so, it looks so effortless. I never
Mhm.
talked to the guy. You might be like, well, it doesn't, I don't know. But to watch him play, I first saw him play for Katie Lang on TV, and I tracked him down. Questlove.
Oh, yeah.
Um, those three guys are kind of my favorite dudes right now. Meg White, I love her playing. I
Yeah.
saw them live a long time ago, and I was like, yeah, I didn't know what to expect. And she killed it. I love her playing. All
Yeah.
that, super sparse. But yeah, who else? I mean, there's so many young guys that just blow my mind, that my mind's too blown to really even. I've lost the music because my mind's so blown. But yeah, there's so many. That's what I love about social media, is seeing things like that come up just because you like this or whatever.
Mhm.
Something else will come out, or somebody will like, check this out. And there's just so much talent out there. And I feel like music back when I was first starting out, it's not like it was today, or it is today. It's back then, it was so much more. There were a lot of people playing music, but rock bands, and it's so much more, I think, accepted now. It's not like if your kid wanted to be in a rock band in
Oh, yeah.
1979, it was like, I had friends that was, you bust into an AC/DC Highway to Hell, and they're like, no,
Mm-hmm.
don't, you're not corrupting my kid, kind of thing. And then that was that for them. So
Yeah. Dude,
nowadays, so it's such a, it's, I don't want to say popular. I don't know if it's the right word, but you know what I mean? It's like, there's so many people playing music right now. I
mm-hmm.
think it's great. I think it's, it's amazing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I just had this conversation with a good friend of mine who, we grew up. Have that older brother I was telling you that had the only CD player. He was a gigantic Grateful Dead head, and then subsequently got into Fish. And then when I heard that music coming from his room, and I heard like Medeski Martin Wood, like with that record with John Scofield, A Go Go, that is when I was like, ooh, what is this? There's a different thing, because I was listening to friggin' Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Pantera. Like I was like into some heavier stuff too. But when I heard that and I started to think about like, oh, improvisational music, what is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a whole nother world of exploration musically,
Yeah.
which I think, I love everything from, you know, heavy stuff to bluegrass these days because I can find and appreciate things in it all,
Mhm.
But did you get into that D'Angelo record Voodoo at all that Quest played on?
I've heard it. Yeah, there's some man, sick beats on there.
Oh
It's
man.
something that I got into and really kind of made it part of my listening loop right there. But I've experienced it. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. Soup that everyone on that record is like, oh my god,
Oh yeah, dude. Pino, give
Oh,
me a break. Um, all right, Zenyatta Mandata. I was like surprised to see that, but Stuart Copeland's a badass. So tell me a little bit about that too.
well, as soon as I heard the Police, I loved that band. And like I listened to all kinds of different music. I always had, but I don't know, that band really struck me as I just really dug. You could hear everything so well. Like I love a three piece. I always have. It's like there's so much space, and what he was doing with the drums, I hadn't heard done before. You know what I mean? Like the reggae influence, the punk influence. All he was just cramming all that together, and I just thought it was amazing. And Sting's voice, I thought was great, and his bass playing. And then Andy Summers, like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not even like guitar. It's something else completely to me. And then you put it all together and wow. Or what they did with like a pop tune and then a punk tune, and then a ballady weird thing and then some spaced out, kind of ethereal sounding trip. It just like it seemed like they had no rules. They just were all over the place, just making great music.
Yeah.
Floored. And then I saw them in '82 and
Mm.
that even more. It was them and a horn section.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, what? Tell me a little bit about that. Come on now.
Yeah, they opened up with, and I'm blanking on the name of the song. They opened up with an instrumental, and the house lights went down. Band came out. Everyone's freaking out, and they just kick right in the instrumental. Oh God, I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of it. Anyway, they're jamming for a while, and all the lights are out, and there's no lights on the stage. You can't see anything. And they play that for probably, I don't know, a minute and a half, something like that. And then he goes into Driven to Tears. And as soon as it hits the snare hits at the top, the lights come on. And it was just like, oh my God, that's the safest thing I'd ever experienced.
Oh my God.
It was, yeah. So it was a life-changing moment, I must say. That
Dude.
horn section was amazing. And then I
How
saw
how
later with
big was the horn section? Sorry to cut you off.
piece.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it was tight, and they were on fire, And then I saw Synchronicity was like, it was weird because they were so huge, you know, and the venue got a lot bigger, um, and I think they had backup singers. The band was twice as big. there were like kids in the audience. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's a totally different experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Man.
that first one though, the first time I saw him, it was just really raw and it was vicious.
Mm. So you've got to have a handful of shows that thinking about it raises the hair on your arm. So is that one of them?
Oh God, yes.
Give me one more because I'm so curious. Because man,
Foreigner, Double Vision,
oh really nice.
New Year's Eve, 79 into 80. And yeah, I was a big Foreigner fan, and that was my first big concert.
Wow,
Never been to an arena concert before.
man.
That was amazing.
Mm.
April Wine opened up. They're great. They had a few songs on the radio that were kick ass. A couple tunes. They were a great band too live. God, it's just way too many.
Did you ever see AC/DC live?
Oh yeah, I've seen them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because you put Back in Black on here. So tell me about your first
Oh, yeah.
AC/DC concert.
Oh yeah. First time I saw him, I think it was For Those About to Rock. I don't know if I'd seen him before then. I remember though when they played that show, they had the cannons. I think everyone's hearing is permanently damaged from those cannons. It was like boo. I took my son to see them at the Forum in LA, and I don't know, 2013 maybe, and it was great. They're one of the best live bands. Everyone knows that, and they're still underrated, I think.
Yeah.
So we get there, and we got some good seats. We're kind of by the sound board, and we're sitting there, and everyone's like, "Do you want some hearing protection?" Or I'm like, "Nah." And they're like, "Is this your first concert?" And my son, well, he's, I don't know, 12, something like that. And yeah, maybe it was 2011. Anyway, we're like, "No, we're good." And as soon as they start, they had this train come, it was like a cartoon backdrop, and then it cuts to, there's a train that smashes through the back, and it's like hanging there, and they start playing. It's so loud we can't hear it. You can't discern any notes or anything. It's just a wall of sound. And then I was just like, whoa, we're both kind of like this, and everyone's like taking the sound, we're just, and then it sounded great. But
man, that's crazy. Dude, you're never gonna believe this. The loudest concert I've ever been to was Ben Folds 5.
Really?
Dude, those guys were so loud, and I can appreciate why. I mean, you got a piano, a bass, and drums, but man, yeah, and what's crazy is Train opened up for them. It was a killer show.
Wow, yeah.
No one knew who Train was at the time, but yeah, the loudest concert I've ever been to, Ben Folds 5.
That drummer's awesome.
Oh yeah, Darren Jesse.
He's great, super smooth, and
yeah, he's a swinger like you, man. He
swings.
Swing.
Yeah, I really like his playing.
Yeah, he's great. So what about Back in Black? I mean, I know there's hit after hit after hit on that record, but
yeah, well, I was a big AC/DC fan, and it was a Christmas, whatever that year was, 80. So that record came out, I think, and it's like, everybody knew, and they lost Bon Scott. It's like, what's this going to sound like? And I got that, and I opened it up, and I was just floored. I remember I probably listened to that a few times in a row. To me, that's another like record that's just like a perfect record, like every song on it, and it's so like cohesively, laid out. It's just perfect, like blend of tunes and the arrangement of the songs, everything about it is, I mean, it's just, I still listen to it a lot. I just am blown away. And it's weird because I was such a AC/DC fan. I love Bon Scott, but that's by far my favorite AC/DC record. One of my favorite records, obviously.
yeah.
So pick that one, but yeah.
Dude, it's hook after hook. And
exactly.
And not just from like choruses, but like how many guitar hooks are on that friggin' record? It's every song.
Like, every song. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy how good that album is. And like people think about that record like they think about the Black Album from Metallica. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's the sellout record kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, they sold a shit ton of records. They did sell out a ton
Boo,
of.
boo, bummer for them. Yeah.
I know, right? It's a
I see that.
dumbest complaint. But yeah, what a good record, man. All right, so let's talk about that Keith Richards record, Talk Is Cheap.
Yeah.
So,
Life changing.
dude, Dave, I was the other day, I was kind of going through your list, just kind of kind of familiarizing myself with some of these records and listening to some of this stuff. And then I was like, Talk Is Cheap. I don't know that I've heard this. And then I found it and I started listening to it. And then the first bar of music, I was like, what the hell? Why have I never heard this? How did you get exposed to this? Just because you were a Stones fan?
Well, yeah, big Keith Richards fan, but then also Steve Jordan
Yeah.
since 1982, seeing Letterman for the first time. And I was just like, wow. It's like when I saw Questlove the first time, like there's certain drummers I'm just like, who is that? Like I need to find out who that is and hear anything they've ever done kind of thing. Yeah, so those two together. But I love Keith Richards playing. He's underrated. And again, it's like everyone loves his playing. He's still underrated.
Yep.
And his songwriting, it's like every Stones song, every Keith song on a Stones record is usually one of my favorites off that record. I mean, Happy is a perfect example. What an amazing song. That's just one. Before They Make Me Run, everything he's ever done that's his song that he sings on or whatever on the records, I always really loved. So yeah, I was excited to get it, and just floored. They were playing Don't Take It So Hard.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Just like, I mean, it's pretty clear why they picked that to go first, but yeah, like you say, you put it on, I put the CD on, and I was just like, that first hit, and that's Bootsy on that bass track. It's just, I don't know. It's just perfect. Everything on the record is perfect.
Yeah, and it's very clear when you listen to the Black Crowes where their influences lie, obviously. But like when you hear that record in particular, it could have been a Black Crowes record in a way. There's you know what I mean?
Yeah, they stole that and good on them. You know what I mean? Or they kind of got into that vibe, but they have such a Stonesy feel. I love the Black Crowes. Don't get me started on that band.
We were talking about Tim LaFave earlier. Tim played with the Black Crowes for a little bit of time. He played with them, and then he went and played with the Tedeschi Trucks band for a while. So he's all over the place. But I think you would really like listening to him, and Keith Carlock play together.
Keith Carlock. Yeah, that guy. Man, somebody sent me something recently. Might have been my brother. He's playing with Steely Dan, and he goes into his solo, which just like breaks throughout this, midsection of the song. And it's that dude. Yeah, when he came on the scene, I was like, wow. And he sets his drums up weird. And it's like, I saw him on TV playing with somebody. It wasn't Steely Dan, it was somebody else, but wow, what a monster.
Yeah.
And so smooth. He's another guy to watch him. It's just like, are you going to be all right? But then if you just listen, it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
He's just like sick chops, but then just all the tastiest grooves.
Yeah.
It's like, that's my favorite stuff. So yeah, that guy does it all.
Did you ever get into the Steve Jordan big hi-hat phase? Have you gone through that phase? You have 16s or 17s? What is that?
I have 16s right now, but I have 17s. And those are all Paiste traditionals.
Okay.
That's all I use is Paiste. And a large part because of him, but the traditionals, he uses those. Okay. And I got into them, and I knew he played 17s, but I first started with some 16s because speaking of Black Crowes, a friend of mine, Jonathan Wilson, he had these jams over at his house, and Chris was singing. So we all got to jam together quite a
Oh,
few
fun.
times. It was great. But Jonathan has this sweet old Camco kit and 18s for hi-hats. And I was
Jesus.
like, what are those, like 16s? And he's like, no, 18s. I was like, wow, that's like too much soup for me because I had 18 crashes. I put them together. But you know who started that? And I think Jordan even said, Clifford, Creedence drummer.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. But then now
Wow.
you go back and listen to those tracks and you can hear how sloshy those high, and it's so good. And
Mhm.
once you get used to them, um, it's hard to switch back. Sometimes I'll put 14s on and it's
Like
just
missing the hi-hat. You're like,
oh
ugh.
my gosh, you know what I mean? And so I put some rivets. I got out of metal. My brother brought me over. He's a builder. He brought me over a metal bit. I was like drilling holes and putting rivets in,
Heck
the
yeah.
bottom cymbal, and it's just not the same. So yeah, the 16s, I love them because they're kind of, they're not all the way there. The 17s, it's a huge difference when I
Yeah.
put those on. But yeah, the 16s I've been using since jamming with Jonathan back in like '07.
Man. Okay. And so then how big is your ride? Are you using a 20 or 22? Like what are you using?
That's a 22. That's what I use most right there.
Okay.
22 traditional. Yeah.
Okay. I love that sound, man. There's nothing like, first of all, when Steve Jordan just sits in a pocket and grooves,
Nobody
there's
better.
no, dude, it's like
Nobody better.
it's infuriating because like sometimes I'll sit down and just try to just relax and just groove. And I'm like, I want to be Steve Jordan. I'm like, son, you're never gonna be Steve Jordan. Stop trying to be Steve Jordan.
Well,
But
yeah.
it's a vibe, man. It's
Well,
like,
that's the thing. He's so good. He's so inspiring to me. Like I'll see something or I'll listen to something, or watch a video or what, and I get inspired. I could just see a picture of him playing and I'm inspired. Like I want to come in here and play my drums. It's like, that's pretty cool. That dude's inspired so many people. And I think it's great because he could probably do anything. Either, you know what I mean? The sickest fills, whatever. But he's just so about the pocket. He's so about the song. You know what I mean? He's a producer too. So, and a
yeah,
multi-instrumentalist. So yeah, he's just inspiring. I have his snare drum, the Yamaha Steve Jordan snare drum.
I think it's loud. It's a
It's
crack.
cool. I brought it on tour when I was out with Candlebox for a few years. I played that mostly. And there was a drummer opening for us, and his snare drum broke or something like. So you can use one of mine. And I gave him like a nice brass one, like a 6.5, 14 brass. And he was like, "Can I use that one?"
It's got the wood rims, right? Like the wood hoops and
He
stuff.
does, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
still cracking. It's still, yeah, it still projects. So that's really thin maple.
Yeah. Yeah. That's dope, dude. Um, I wanted to ask you before we do like the lightning round get down and everything, because here's yet another thing that I was in college by the time this happened. Huge Blind Melon fan. You're gonna know where this is going, but I was a huge Blind Melon fan in high school and stuff. There's Soup right behind me, right there.
Yeah.
Um, and when Shannon passed, super bummed out. And then I randomly heard from all these people, oh, there's this band that's like some of the dudes from Blind Melon from this band called Unified Theory. And I was like, what? Okay, I'll check it out. Dude, that record didn't leave my car. I can't even tell you how long I listened to that record. Like when I'm just driving back and forth from college back to my hometown, like I would just leave it in there. I never took it out. What a fun sonic record that was.
Mhm.
Like, so can you tell me, what kind of kit was that?
The Unified Theory stuff.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
California groove, dude.
that
Oh shit.
that's a DW.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I play mostly. I've got a bunch of different types of drum kits, different brands and whatnot. But that song, the majority of that was my DW kit. And then Brad had like what is Cessna. There's a couple that he had an old Slingerland kit.
Mhm.
It's like a 2013, 16, I think. With the heads that were just tattered, but it sounded good, so he just left them on there. But the kick drum head was like just pitted out, so like dented in, but it sounded good.
Yeah.
So I use that on a few tunes as well.
Yeah. It was a sonic masterpiece, man. There's some records that I listen to, and even as a guitarist, like I say this often, but I listen to it because of the drums. Like, because there's something about rhythm that inspires me more than anything. Like Mike McCready's my hero. Like one day I hope to meet him and shake his hand and be like, thank you. Just like I'm saying to you, because he has given me so much in terms of like, I mean, dude, I was in middle school. I took it real seriously too, dude. I got obsessed with guitar. Like as soon as I got that first instrument, I stayed in my room and I was like rewinding tapes, trying to learn it, rewinding, you know. But like I am probably mostly just super attracted to drums. Like, do you know the record? You know that Robert Palmer record, "Sneakin' Sally Through the Alley"?
I've heard it. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know who plays drums on that.
It's Zigaboo. It's the Meters. The
Oh,
Meters for the
yeah,
backing band, and
meters.
Lowell George from Little Feat with them too.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's
Oh, that
funky,
makes
dude. It's real
yeah,
cool.
that's really cool. I'll have
Yeah.
to check that out.
Yeah, but that's a record. That's like a Desert Island record. But when I first heard it, it's like I loved the way that the drums sounded. So
Wow.
I just immediately gravitated towards that, and then everything else came later. Like then I appreciated everything else. But it's the way that the same way that I gravitated towards 10 probably when I was playing, NBA jams, just some way, shape, or form. As soon as once came in, I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like there's
So
an energy and there's the way that I think you and Jack Irons have the slinkiest grooves
cool. Thank you.
probably out of
Love
all the,
Jack's playing.
yeah.
I
But
love
there's just something special about when you hear a really well written song, but a song that's supported, like you said, like as young as you were and as musically mature as you maybe didn't realize you were playing for the song. Because you could have just like chopped out and done a bunch of crazy stuff that nobody wanted you to do, you know?
Well, no, that's the thing. I think the brilliance of that band, Stone's riffs, Jeff's bass playing, you know, um, Eddie's vocals, Mike's playing over the top of everything, but those riffs, like they speak the loudest. That says it all. For so to me, because I was somebody that loved to go off, Um, and speaking of jam bands, like I grew up like it's hard to find a singer. So me and my friends would go. I mean, we had bands and had singers and play like the high school dance and all that good stuff. But for the most part, because we played all the time, and me and my musician friends would be like guitar, like a three piece.
Mm.
So improving, you know what I mean? So I love to go off. Um, but when we started playing, like hearing his demos, you know what I mean? There was a lot of framework there. And then playing with them, it was like, this is so cool because it's so fun to get in that groove and play with these guys. You don't have to do anything. And
Mhm.
less is more is kind of an overused, phrase, but
Nah, it's true.
it's a perfect example of where you can apply that because there's just so much going on. You know what I mean? Those riffs, the bass line, vocally, it's like you don't want to get in the way.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Like I never really thought about it till now, but yeah, there's not a lot of fills. There's only like brief spots where I kind of go off deep. There's some like you know revolving kind of thing. But yeah, it's like I never really thought about it.
No, dude, and like
Not a lot of fills.
even like just as simple as a fill could be, like going into the chorus of "Why Go," boom, da, boom, da, boom, da, boom. Like your timing is what makes that fill interesting. It's not necessarily doesn't have to be the chops of the fill. Your timing and your feel is what made it happening. You know what I mean?
Great,
I
thank you.
think that's a song every time I get on the kit, I'll sit down boom, 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 like, and it always makes me happy because that groove, first of all, it's the anthem of my childhood of like becoming a musician, but like
Awesome.
it's just like the way that you approached serving the song. I mean that it made that record, dude. I mean, yeah, you had great songs to play with,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
but you're an extremely integral part of making those songs feel good.
Thank you.
So, yeah, but
Sure.
it's crazy, dude. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Dave, let's do the lightning round get down because I don't want to keep you. I could talk to you all night, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to pull up
My
a.
friend's taking me out in his boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Wait.
Here, I'm going to put the metronome on. We're going to cruise at 112 BPM. I'm going to ask you 10 questions. It's a this or that situation, and you tell me which one. And if you want to explain your answers, feel free. You do not have to, but you can. First one's always the same. Season 11, lightning round get down. Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
Match or traditional grip?
Match.
Okay, ice cream. Waffle cone or in a cup?
Waffle cone.
Vinnie Colaiuta or Stuart Copeland?
Stuart Copeland.
Talladega Nights or Step Brothers?
Step Brothers.
Monopoly or Clue?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, Clue.
Okay. Sergeant Pepper's or Rubber Soul?
Rubber Soul.
Chores, doing the dishes or the laundry, which you would prefer?
Laundry.
Okay. Billy Joel or Elton John?
Oh, God, that's not fair. Both.
Okay. Did you see the Billy Joel doc?
I just watched it.
So good, right?
My
I
good friend
loved it.
Danny Sywell is in that. And we'd been talking, a group of us, and I'm like, I got to get on that. So I recorded it and I forgot all about it. And I had some friends here for a few days. And I was going through my DVR and I was like, oh, we got to watch this. So we did. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, that was great. I blew my mind. That dude, wow.
He's lived a life.
He's lived a life. And it's just like, he's badass.
Yeah, he's
Like,
good.
I have whole new respect for him.
Oh, me too. All right, here's the last one, Dave. So sometimes it's the easiest, sometimes it's the hardest. If you could take one album and erase it from your memory, just so you could go back and experience it for the first time again, what album would that be?
Oh, man. Shoot.
That's hard sometimes.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Probably Abbey Road.
Okay. Why Abbey Road?
Because I feel like if I could hear it for the first time now, I'd get it a lot more. You know what I mean? I think it would have a bigger impact on me now, having gone through everything I have in life thus far. So,
okay, fair enough. All right, and then let's talk a little bit about real quick. Just give people a heads up of where you're playing, what's going on with Dave Krusen.
I'm playing. I have a band called The Vases, and we're playing September 18th in Seattle, and we'll put it up on our social media where it is. I can't. It's a little art gallery. So.
Oh, cool.
And then on October 11th, we're opening for Sweetwater, one of my favorite bands.
Oh, cool.
October 11th at Numos in Seattle. Looking forward to that. That'll be fun. And what else? That's about it. I did the Drumeo thing. It's really kind of around 10 turning 35. So it's going to come out next summer.
Heck yeah.
So
awesome.
Wait for it. But no, it should be cool. They're great. It was an honor to get to work with that crew. Yeah, that's about it. And
cool.
Then like, thanks for putting my website up, and then social media. I always post like things I'm involved with.
Yeah.
And it kind of changes all the time. I'm not in a, tour anymore. So it's like a little here, a little there. I still travel. I still play out of town, but, yeah, it's kind of like something will pop up. So yeah, if someone's interested, check me out there. And it's a good way to like, find out if I'm doing something if they're interested.
Well, I know one band that's looking for a drummer right now, and I think you'd be a good fit for it. Well, when Matt left, I was like, get Dave. Get yours
Hi.
back immediately.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know,
Trust
it's
me, man.
funny. I talked to Eddie like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he
I have
should
a
be.
friend here. My friends that were visiting a few days ago, he's a big collector. And they were going to take me to a Mariners game. And so I was like, man, it'd be so cool. Because, I mean, he's a huge collector. They're both like, he collects Cub stuff too, Ernie Banks stuff.
Oh, nice.
I was like, man, if you could see that, that's like that'd be, I knew he'd flip. And so I got a hold of Eddie, and he was so kind to hook it all up. And
Yeah.
John, their guy, met us at the warehouse, and it's a tour, and we got to just sit there and, all the
Dude,
the memorabilia he's got.
I feel like that whole, anytime they've done any documentaries about the warehouse, I want to hear a story about every single one of those guitars that's in that place. Because I'm like, holy shit, dude, those guys have so many instruments, and I bet you they all have a story. Every single one of them. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's some, Eddie's section of like in the warehouse, this little spot where they have gear. I don't know if I should say. Well,
You can tell me off air. We can cut out of here, and then you can.
But it's like, there's Entwistle's Sun bass cabinet.
Oh,
he's got one of Stuart Copeland's drum kits. I didn't get to see which one.
Oh my God.
Ask him which one he has. I'm sure it's probably something from back in the day. You know what I mean?
Man, that's nuts.
But yeah, it's just, that place is insane.
It's a fun clubhouse, man. Oh, and Robert Keeley was in here. I don't know if you know Keeley Electronics. He was in here. He's a friend of mine. He's a good dude. Makes guitar pedals and a bunch of fun gear. Dave, dude, this was an absolute pleasure, man. I so appreciate you taking the time to talk to a schlub like me. I have been a fan for a long, long time, and like literally, dude, you changed the direction of my life in a very positive way. So,
well, thank you for saying that.
Yeah, man. Of course.
It's an honor.
Yeah, dude.
Seriously. Thank you.
Man, it comes from the bottom of my heart, dude. When I told my wife that I booked you and we were going to be doing this, she's like, "Are you going to freak out?" And I was like, "No." I was like, I've been doing this long enough that I know how to keep my cool, but like was really looking forward to this because that band and your playing means a lot to me. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Right on.
So hang just 1 second, Dave. Everybody else, thank you for coming in for season 11, episode 1. This is amazing. We're going to keep this train rolling. So thank you for BV for popping all the stuff in the chats, for Dave's links and all that good stuff. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you next time.